Hi, I'm Sharon Bell with the Baynet, and it's election season 2018. And with me today is Howard Thompson, who is seeking the St. Mary's County Commissioner President position. How are you today, Howard?
Just fine. Thank you all for having me this
morning. Glad you could make it here. Over the last few years, St. Mary's County has put in a new 911 system. And this 911 system, it wasn't like it was installed 100%, it was done. This 911 system was phased in. And now there's questions around, should we keep the system? Do we go with the new system that would be in the sum of $30 million? Even though we've just recently put this money into this system. What do you think we should do about this 911 system?
One good thing, we have a gentleman now that's in the head of that department that has had experience in that field, Mr. Walker. I've talked to him a couple times. People that work for him are very confident in how he is running that part of that department. We have a large investment in that system. Luckily, it has come out recently that we have a new backup system, and the backup system is good, and that's great because we have to have that. Because right now there are some doubts, though we're getting there. I'll say, step in a 1 to 10. In 1 to 10 steps, I think we're up to maybe about a 7. And for the large investment that we've put into that, we have to give it, a chance to make sure. And I'm sure Mr. Walker is going to do that. I mean, I know that they're doing testing. I've heard from different people from the fire community that they're going to buildings, they're going to outlying regions, making sure all these signals get through. It's very important because
it's extremely important.
I mean, here in the middle, Lexington Park runs the most calls of any EMS. But when you're out on the outer reaches of Ridge, 7th District, Golden Beach, you have to make sure that this system is working.
Right.
So we have to look out for our large investment that we put into that. Commissioners have to stay on that, make sure it's done, and we have to make sure it's done in a timely fashion. We have to move forward as quickly as we can with that.
On the theme of economics, with the oyster farmers, there's a lot going on with the oyster farmers, and that's a very large part of the revenue in the state of Maryland that comes from St. Mary's County. There's a lot going on with the county commissioners and the farmers. What's your take on that?
Well, I know they've taken a break. They want to do some more studying on that. When I went to the hearing, not being a waterman myself, I had to learn from the water community and from the citizens that live on the water. I mean, everybody has rights. The state, if I understand everything correctly, they sell the development rights to do that on the water.
Yeah.
And by doing so, they give, of course, the aquaculture people the chance to do that. But of course, then you also have the citizens that want navigable waterways in front of their homes. So we have to find out a balance. We have to, does it stay close to shore? Does it have to be more deep water? Hey, I'm the first one to like an oyster here in St.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
I certainly want to see the farm. And I also, in the business that I'm in, we use the oyster farming business in order to help our restaurant and different things that we do in our facility. So it's part of our economic development. It's part of our economic community. But
it's a large part.
You have to make sure that they, all the citizens are heard, and that they're all taken care of. You just have to find that fine line, and it's going to have to be more study. It's not. I wish I could say this is how we're going to solve that problem, but it takes a collective group to find that out. And I think within time they'll be able to do that.
Definitely. Now, what about some of the county roads, particularly FDR Boulevard, that everybody has been anticipating for years?
Well, FDR Boulevard has been on the books for a long time.
Yes.
And it is being built in increments. It's coming along. Right now we're waiting for a piece to open that goes from the Route 4, I'll say, to Chancellor's Run Road. And when that does get built, or it's built almost all the way, they have a few issues that are in the middle, so we still have the barricades up. But once that's open, it will give, I'll say, the development that is along that in the residential communities, an avenue to go from, I'll say, from point A to point B, shopping center wise, without having to go out on 235. It will help them. A lot of commuters for the base are looking for that to be a maybe a shortcut to the base, but they'll have to remember that we have a single lane road that's actually going through a residential
It's a residential neighborhood.
And it's I'm anxious to see how it works. When it first opens, there's going to be a lot of citizens that will use it for different purposes. It will take a while for it to settle down.
Right.
It's just like anything else.
Anything's
you open
new.
something new, everybody wants to see it.
Right.
So they'll have to let everybody see it.
Yeah, everybody will drive
Everybody
through.
get backed up a little bit, and then they'll calm down with that. But when we build those things, say the FDR, but we have to make sure we have infrastructure in place in this county when it comes to building things. We had I'll say a small debacle, or not a small, large debacle at the Route 4 intersection with FDR Boulevard and 235, where we let a developer, we gave them the best corner in the county. They were allowed to develop that. There was, at the concept stage, the Planning Commission saw that. That's actually the only time the Planning Commission has the
In the beginning.
ability to do anything about that. We asked them to have all their infrastructure in place, but after that it's actually up to Land Use and Growth Management, who is governed by the Board of County Commissioners, to make sure that all the adequate public facilities are in place before they open that. I know they wanted to get that shopping center open quickly.
Right.
As with anything, it is the busiest corner in the county, and everybody wanted the new shopping center, the new store. But by doing so, they found out afterwards that there were problems with the road. Now, sometimes that's unforeseen, but with proper engineering, they should have been able to know more about, I'll say, the phone lines, water line problems that were going to come about.
Right.
Weather might have been part of that problem as to getting that piece of road finished. But at the same time, over here in Nicollet Park, one of our local firms came and were asked to put an entrance to the new park.
Exactly.
And they built a new road. They engineered it, they built it, they finished it, and they actually cut the ribbon in the rain. So,
Right.
I mean,
Yeah,
things
I remember
can be
that.
done, but at that corner, things have to be done at night. I
Yeah.
just don't think that the infrastructure, the way, the planning, the way they let those plans fall through was done in the right way. And that's part of one of the reasons I'm sitting here. I just think that if you get the plan straight, if you do A, B, and C in order, I'll take, for instance, the north end of the county. In the Charlotte Hall area, they have a shopping center that's
Right.
getting ready to be built. If you notice, if you go up there now, and I just passed by it last night, all of their infrastructure is in place. Their entryway,
Yeah.
the road, all the side roads, entrances, everything is in place now. So they can start laying block, and they don't have to worry about if they laid the block first and came out with what kind of entrances and stuff they'd have to worry about before. It was done in the proper way, and I commend the developer that
Right.
is in charge of that for doing it in that fashion. It's the right way to do it, and I think that's because, one, it's a locally owned and will be a locally owned and operated shopping center. I think they're more concerned with the citizens, though.
Right.
Sometimes when you have developers that aren't here from the county, I mean, they are here to develop a business.
Is there anything else that you would like to tell our viewers?
I've lived in the county my whole life. My family's been here for hundreds of years. I thought at the beginning, I know St. Mary's County, but I've learned a lot about St. Mary's County. I've learned more about St. Mary's County than I thought I knew at the
Right.
beginning of this voyage that we started a year ago. And I'm glad I've done it now. I'm ready for it.
Great.
I think I can serve. I've always served. I learned that from my grandparents. I learned that from my mom. So I'm ready to do this for the county.
Great. November 6th is Election Day. Make sure everybody gets out and votes. If you have any questions, you can email elections@thebaynet. We'll see you next time.